Abdullah is a criminal and a former bounty hunter who joined as a gladiator at the Kurita Coliseum to compete for the Mera Mera no Mi, along with his partner Jeet. He is an ally of Luffy during the Dressrosa arc. After the battle with the Don Quixote pirates at Dressrosa, he joined the XXX Gym Martial Arts Alliance, which later converted to a pirate crew called the Idio Pirates. Appearance: Abdullah has a pointed head that is bald on the top with black hair in pigtails hanging down the sides. His high forehead has 3 vertical scars on it. He sports thin rectangular sunglasses and along with large purple trousers held up by brown suspenders. He also has armor over his left arm. After being transformed into a toy by Sugar, Abdullah became a teddy bear. Personality: Abdullah along with Jeet bombed a government institution, indicating a severe enmity against the world government. He and his partner also resorted to underhanded tactics to defeat their opponents in the Kurita Coliseum, becoming very unpopular with the spectators. In spite of this ill behavior, he has shown at least trust and respect Jeet enough to watch each other's back, as evidenced by their known history together and their brutal effectiveness as a tag team. He is also very grateful, as they were moved to tears when Haruden held Usopp into the air and followed Usopp's request to destroy the Smile Factory and save the dwarves. He even assisted Luffy in the decisive battle against the Don Quixote pirates in order to pay Usopp back for freeing them from the toy curse. Additionally, Abdullah called the former toys who pursued Doflamingo's enemies' bounties as shameless, showing morality. Abilities and powers: the fact that they were responsible for the bombing of a government facility, and that they were also mentioned as noted participants at the Kurita Coliseum, indicates that they have some degree of strength. Abdullah and Jeet seem to fight in a sort of tandem style. While people are busy attacking one of them directly, the other attacks the foes from the rear, catching them by surprise. Weapons: Abdullah was seen holding 2 tridents which he used to take down several opponents. History. Past. Sometime in the past, Abdullah and Jeet were bounty hunters before they bombed a government institution. Dressrosa arc. Abdullah and Jeet entered the Kurita Coliseum to compete for the Mera Mera no Mi. During the Battle Royale, they were placed in Block B. The 2 fighters made their first appearance when Dagama explained the ulterior motives of all the competitors present, Abdullah standing quietly with a morose expression on his face, while Jeet eagerly licked the edge of one of his sabers. As Block B began, Abdullah and Jeet were seen preparing to fight. Later, as the Battle Royale commenced, Abdullah and Jeet disqualified some of the gladiators with a strategy. Abdullah distracted them while Jeet hit them from behind with his sword, gleefully cackling all the while. As one of the gladiators angrily accused the 2 of being cowards, the 2 commented on how nice the sounds of combat are. Later on, Abdullah and Jeet tricked and defeated Tank Lepanto and were shown standing victoriously over his prostrate body. As the crowd commented on the dirty tricks that the 2 were using, Abdullah and Jeet swiftly defeated another fighter utilizing the same strategy. While Elizabello II, Dagama, Blue Gilly, and Ricky fought their respective battles, the 2 fighters eagerly awaited their next victim, hungry for blood. What they did not expect was for Bellamy to suddenly make his assault, rooting them to the spot by impaling their feet with knives. As the 2 shriek in pain at the sudden attack, Bellamy grabbed them by their jaws and used his devil fruit powers to flip over their heads, twisting and subsequently snapping their backs. Defeated by the vicious Don Quixote pirate member, the downfall of the 2 fighters was cheered on by the crowd. Sometime later, they were supposed to receive treatment for their injuries, but instead, they were thrown into an underground dungeon filled with broken toys along with some of the disqualified participants. When Tank Lepanto asked Ricky if he was actually the former king of Dressrosa, Riku Doldo III, Abdullah flatly denied the possibility, stating that King Riku was dead. In full agreement with his partner, Jeet laughed, adding that he had heard the former king had gone insane. The pair were later seen having been transformed into toys. They referred to themselves as Lone Wolf Abdullah and Solitary Warrior Jeet in their thoughts, showing that despite their long history together as partners they had still forgotten each other once transformed. When Sugar passed out, her curse broke and the toys returned to their original forms. All the former slaves in the underground, including Abdullah and Jeet, declared Usopp as their savior for freeing them and happily followed his lead. After Doflamingo trapped Dressrosa in his birdcage, Abdullah, Jeet, and the other Coliseum fighters escaped to the surface through an opening created by Pika when he rearranged the land with his ability. When they found Luffy, Zoro, and Law, they stated that they will defeat Doflamingo for Usopp. Therefore, they joined forces with Luffy's group alongside the Chinjiao family, Haruden, Suleiman, UC, Blue Gilly, Cavendish, Idio, Orlumbus, Elizabello II, and Dagama. When some of the former toys came for the heads of Luffy, Zoro, and Law, the allied Colosseum fighters fought them off. They later marched towards the royal palace and began to battle against Pika. When Pika attempted to strike, Chinjiao and Elizabello II shattered Pika's stone hand, enabling the group to move forward. Pika then attacked with his other arm, causing Luffy's allies to fall back. However, UC, with Luffy, Zoro, Law, Abdullah, and Jeet on its back, jumped on and ran on Pika's arm. After Luffy shattered Pika's stone head with Grizzly Magnum, Pika's true body appeared before the bull. Pika took out his sword and tried to attack the bull and the group riding on it, but Luffy carried the bull and evaded the sword strike. Zoro intercepted Pika when he attempted to strike again. With Pika held back, UC ran on the stone giant's back, carrying Luffy, Law, Abdullah, and Jeet closer to the palace. They eventually reached the first level of the New King's Plateau. While they charged through Doflamingo's troops, Kelly Funk, while fused with Bobby Funk, appeared seemingly to aid them and showed them a tunnel that was supposed to go directly to the fourth level. While cheering for Kelly, Abdullah and Jeet hit their heads on the top of the tunnel's entrance and fell of UC. Luffy, Law, and UC went ahead and left Abdullah and Jeet behind. They soon realized that Kelly Funk had tricked Luffy, but before they could react, Doflamingo appeared and struck down Kelly. When Luffy, Law, and UC were trapped and about to be killed by Doflamingo, they both struck him in the back, only to discover that it was a clone made up of string. After Luffy punched a hole to the second level, he left Abdullah and Jeet to care for the wounded UC. During the final phase of Doflamingo's game, Abdullah and Jeet were seen again helping the other gladiators push back the birdcage via Bartolomeo's barrier just long enough for Luffy to defeat Doflamingo. 3 days after Doflamingo's defeat, the Marines were mobilized to pursue Luffy and his allies. Abdullah, Jeet, and Idio subdued the Marines at the eastern port. When Bastille called them, Abdullah and Jeet tried to trick him into not sending reinforcements but failed. The fighters later gathered at the eastern port, preparing to fight Isho. When Isho prepared to attack them with all the rubble from Dressrosa, the fighters and the Straw Hats quickly fled to the escape ship. At that moment, Luffy arrived and attacked Isho. During the clash, Isho used his gravity ability to blow Luffy away, who was then caught by Haruden. The fighters and Straw Hats quickly fled across a bridge leading to a gigantic ship in the distance. Isho prepared to drop the rubble on them but was obstructed by the Dressrosa citizens who were pretending to chase after Luffy. They eventually reached Orlumbus's flagship, the Yonta Maria. After boarding the ship, Abdullah and Jeet revealed that they joined Idio's group. The XXX Gym Martial Arts Alliance was then one of the 7 groups that pledged their allegiance to the Straw Hats. After the Straw Hat fleet was formed, the Straw Hats and company held a feast to celebrate their victory over Doflamingo. After Idio received Luffy's Vivre card, the XXX Gym Martial Arts Alliance parted ways with the Straw Hats. They were later given a ship by Orlumbus. The stories of the self-proclaimed Straw Hat Grand Fleet. While sailing out at sea with their ship, the XXX Gym Martial Arts Alliance spotted 2 ships in the middle of a battle. Abdullah and his group then fought against the crews of both ships. After ending the fight, the XXX Gym Martial Arts Alliance learned that the battle was part of a 1,000-year quarrel between the Longleg and Longarm tribes. At a deserted island, Idio's group decided to customize their new ship using undamaged ship parts. After their new ship was completed, the XXX Gym Martial Arts Alliance left the Longarm and Longleg crews behind, not caring whether they reconcile or continue their quarrel. The group later decided to become a pirate crew called the Idio Pirates.